Hello everyone, I am Surabhi. Welcome to my channel. So as I told in my last video, we are back home. We are back homeschooling and everything on that. But this was a holiday which is like long pending, and it was a long holiday. So going back to homeschool routine for kids was really hard. Even for me it was very hard because 2 months we had a full fun. So the easiest way for me to go to homeschool routine or bring the calmness back to the kids, because 2 months they were like the wild animals. I mean, like literally wild animals. So now to calm them down and bring them to a rhythm, the easiest way for me is to do read alouds. Slowly started talking to them, slowly calmly bringing them down to make them sit at one place and do the schoolwork. So in this one kind of 1.5 month or so, no, literally 1 month, we did 3 read alouds, and that's like a really good score because we usually don't end up doing these many read alouds, and that was mainly because it was a read aloud after a long time, so everyone was interested, and the books which I picked was like, thankfully they were all very, very beautiful. So I'm here to share those 3 books which we read, and to tell you what we loved about those books, what we did not love, and then you can decide if you want them as a read aloud or not read aloud if your child want to read it that way. So let's start. I'll just tell you the names first so that so this is by E.B. White. So this is 3 books in combination. I have individuals also, but I prefer, because read aloud books stay in my shelf, so I prefer 3 books together. So this is Stuart Little, Charlotte Webb, and The Trumpet of the Swan. So Charlotte Webb, if you remember, we have done the read aloud for this book in 2018 is when I got this book, and both my kids love it. We listen on the podcast now. So my younger one who doesn't read knows the story. And again, this book was done, but Stuart Little and Trumpet of Swan, now these 2 books were new and we did a read aloud for them. And the third book which I did was this one, Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of NIMH. So we call it SNIM. That's how I said when I read the story. So I'll tell you about each story and what happened and how it was. So let's start with the E.B. White one. So everyone knows he's a famous author. The Stuart Little. So Stuart Little, I only know about the movie, and I really loved the movie when I watched it, and I watched like many years back. It was just a fancy thought of a small mouse literally living with you. So actually I got a simple picture book of Stuart Little when my kids were little, and it did not click at all. I was very disappointed. But yeah, that's I told my kids about the story as a read aloud when kids were really young, and it did not work. They did not like the idea. But now these many years forward, we have a hamster which very much looks like a mouse, and people literally confuse it. So now it was Stuart Little, they really imagined it as a mouse. And if you have followed us all these years, my kids love all kind of animals, all kind of animal stories, chapter books also. Mainly the animal chapter books works with them. So that is why I picked up Stuart Little to read aloud. One, it was like one of my favorite movies, or like one of my favorite characters. That is why I wanted to. And second thing, we have a hamster. My kids like really could relate Stuart Little like living with us. So that was the reason I picked up Stuart Little. But it's a sweet story. It is like Stuart Little is a mouse which lives like a younger child. So it's like a second child a family has, and they treat him like very respectfully, like one of the siblings. Like they have his own bed, his room, his food, and there's a cat, what kind of things. But because I had watched a movie and that movie was a thriller, I really loved it. This did not end up there, I don't know why, but its initial was good, but it ended like very blankly, that the Stuart goes in a search of the bird who was his friend, and it ended there. There was no conclusion or any adventure or major adventure like that I knew was in the movie. So I don't know my kids loved it much or not. Initially they loved it. They loved the idea of a mouse living in your house as a family, like they treat our hamster. But I was not very happy in the end, like how my kids were like, the story is over? And I was like, yeah, he went to search for the bird. But did he find the bird? And I'm like, I don't know. The story ends there. So that's how this part ended. So not, but initial, like the first 3 days, when we finished every book in 1 week. So we initial 3 days, kids are really excited and like literally begging, oh, can you tell me what happens to it? Can you please read aloud? Can you finish this book fast? So that way kids love the story, but ending, I'm not very happy. Say Charlotte Webb, I told you we have read it, read aloud. We had the podcast, everyone knows the story, so I did not read this. Third one, The Trumpet of Swan. Now this book, now it's my second favorite book. Like I can't even tell you how much happy I am that I read this book aloud. And it's a beautiful book in the sense that it talks about character, which is very much some things which I want to talk to kids about. So why do we read alouds in my house is because many things are there which I can't talk to kids in a journal, routine life, in a curriculum or anything, but I would broadly categorize those things as character values, that you know, what is right, what is wrong, what you should do, is this right, is this wrong. So in Read Aloud, these kind of discussions come out, and with this book there's so many discussions that came out. So in this book, it's just a human being, and there is a swan, which is like, they are trumpet swan. They are the specific kind of swans who make a particular sound. That is their trumpet swan. So one of the cygnets cannot speak. He is dumb, or like you can say mute. And then what does his parents do, because they realize that he cannot speak? How does the humans help that cygnet to, you know, live? And then you know what happens, because the father realizes that he cannot talk. But if a trumpet swan cannot talk, he cannot have a wife, he cannot express his love to the girlfriend or whatever she wants to marry. So what will happen when he is old? Parents love the child well when he was young, but when they realize that it will become a problem for his life, he'll never have a family. So what the father swan does, he goes, he breaks, he enters by breaking a glass to a music shop and steals a trumpet and bring him back, and gives to the son that, you know, with this you can make sounds. So first thing is that the father goes all the way, and this father who is shown is like a very strong moral character. He doesn't want to steal. He's like a very strong character, but just to because he could not see his child in his pain, he really wanted to do something for him. He did that, but he's too much guilty that he stole. So first thing is that boy, he's grateful to his father, but he realizes that how much pain his father is in, because he's guilt. He has stolen the thing, he has not paid price for it. So the trumpet, the baby, and he's adult swan now, so he even cuts they have webbed feet, right? So he cuts these ones, the center, to learn to play trumpet. And how he goes to the human friend to ask him that how can I earn money, because I want my father to be free of the guilt of stealing. So I really have to earn the money, the human money, currency, so that my father can go and pay back to that music shop owner, so that he can live a guilt-free life. I don't know how the authors write such kind of stories, but it is written in a very simple way, in completely child way. The way I'm telling an adult version, but a child just went through so much of emotions and so much of dialogues through it in a very simple way. And then how he collects so much of money, and then when he does multiple jobs as a swan, as a trumpet swan, and there are some jobs he did not like, but he had to do it because he was doing for his father, and it was a way to earn money. That's how humans, it was a way he could earn money in the human world, because he need the human value money. And so, you know, even things are hard, he had to do it because he wanted money. And then he gets the money, and then he gives all the money to his father. Just go and, you know, just return it, because you have done so much for me, and I want you to have a guilt-free life. I don't want my father to have that thing that he stole, and, you know, can't even sleep properly, that kind of thing. So that was very sweet. And then how his father goes and how he returns the money, how humans misunderstood him, that, you know, he has come to steal again. And then and this child swan, right, he learned reading and writing, living with a human. He went to the school with a boy here. So the story is like, everyone should read this book. Even as an adult, I was looking forward to, okay, are you done? Are you settled? I want to read the book. I want to read the book. I want to know what happens next. It was such a beautiful book. So that was the second one. And third one, Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Again, Rats book I picked up because I told you we have a hamster, so it was very sweet. So this is rat. Hamster is no more than a mouse, but it was rat. And for this book, the imagination, I can't even think. It is like, and it is very modern kind of book. Like the DNAs have been changed, the scientists have been working on changing the DNA, how the experiment happened. Rats have taken to a lab and they did experiments. They made them so intelligent as humans because they changed their DNA, and then the rats realized that they don't want to live any more longer as rats. They want to have a, how do rats live? They live on the garbage, on stealing and all those things. These rats whose DNA has been changed, who are much more sensible and very much like human characters, they decided, why do we want to live on garbage and steal people's stuff? Why can't we grow our own stuff? We can live a peaceful life and be independent. So how they learn about electricity, how they build burrows which have electricity, LED lights, meetings, conference rooms. They build a house like that under the earth. And and then what happens that when humans get to know, oh my god, there are rats there, they do not know about that there are so much dwelt rats. They treat them as like the rodents, that they're rats in the farm, they have to be thrown away. So they just make a plan to get rid of them. But these rats are so smart because they have genes of humans. So then how they plan to fool the humans, but still with the intention of going away peacefully and starting their own agriculture, own farms, and live a respectful life. And this Mrs. Frisbee was a mother. Again, it was a mother whose husband was no more, and his child is very sick. So again, it talks about seasons, that when the seasons change, then how does the rats move from one place to another. But because the child is sick, they cannot move from that place for a few months till the weather becomes a little warmer. Then how a mother feels being all alone, and what all she does to protect this fragile child of hers, because a mother will do anything. She takes risks, she takes help, she does many things which really scared her in a way, going to rats which are very different from. So Mrs. Frisbee is a normal rat, and rats of Nim are those genetically modified rats. So how she goes seeks help, she seeks help from owls. And what all a mother does, what all brave things, scary things a mother does to save the child, and how rats have changed. And I mean, like we talked about experimental lab to genetic modification to DNA to what is respectful life, about seasons, how they change, what is the feed of rats, how they eat different things, what are the needs, all those things. And again, I am sharing it means I really loved it. So give it a try. I got these books I did not get from Amazon India, but they are available in Amazon India. I had them before on my to-do read aloud list, so I just read them to my kids and we all loved it. So just letting you know, if you like it, give it a try. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.